Hey, but for real,
let's get into it.
Let's jump into that. I mean, that's massive news. Like, I know we're gonna play. Like, I'm gonna do my fun little stuff. I know you're gonna play. The boys.
You're fun little stuff. Like you've been pretty over the top about it. You've been pretty over the top. But I got you in my good, the bad, the ugly. Don't worry.
What do you mean over the top?
You know.
Number one, this is one of the biggest college. If all of this is true, this would be one of the biggest scandals in college football history. So it doesn't, like, whatever team is happening on, like, yeah, you're my boy, and it's happened to be Michigan. But this is, if you don't have, all those kind of opinions and fun takes and everything else on the internet, like, you're missing out. You got to get in on that kind of action.
What happened over the past weekend, the developments? The boys had a busy weekend.
Just more of the stories come out. So I want to say, I don't know how everything has unfolded throughout the week, but you start off, you figure out that this Connor Stalions, this cat who from the age of 16 wanted to be a Michigan Wolverine coach, and realized going to school, he wasn't going to be able to, maybe he didn't think he could become a coach, like going through the GA mode in Michigan. So then he ends up going to the Naval Academy, becomes a Marine, but he's also GA on staff to kind of probably learn the ins and outs of being a coach. So that way he could bring something to the table once he does go to Michigan. All this time he's getting, he's watching TV copies, things that we're all aware of. He's watching all this stuff to show the value that he could bring as a Michigan GA. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, I'll do whatever it takes. Like, this is a guy who was born and wanted to be a Michigan Wolverine, like, for the rest of time. They only pay him $55,000. Like, he's on a small salary. And when he did that, he has this 550 to 600 page Michigan Manifesto, which is biblical, by the way. Like, that is awesome. But at the same time, like, for the story, he has like this 600 page book that he calls the Michigan Manifesto to show how Michigan's going to take over college football for like the next 15, 20 years, right?
Yeah.
So in the last few years, as everybody's learned to know, he's been taking, like, whether it's other Michigan GAs or other guys he used to coach with or guys he used to know, he would buy them tickets like on the 40-yard line across from every team to all of like the conference games for like the last few years or whatever. What's it been? 30 games over with 15 teams or 11 teams. And basically those people would just hold up their phone and record the sideline the entire time. And he would do all of the basically scouting to get all the signals, all of everything dialed in. Like you saw that play with Ohio State where they looked at the sideline, then everybody, the entire sideline knows, like, hey, a pass is coming.
They're pointing up.
Yeah, they're like pointing up.
But what's different from them going to a game, watching the calls, than doing it on the film? It's still the same thing. The eye in the sky doesn't change.
Hang on. You can see that on regular film too. Yeah. I'm with you.
And so as this is like unfolded, like now there's conspiracy, there's some theories coming out there that this dude is so dialed in, like this manifesto is so dialed in that, say they potentially lost to Ohio State last year. Mm-hmm. They'd be a one-loss Michigan team on the outside looking in, along with Clemson, along with Tennessee, and other teams that could potentially get into the college football playoff. This thing could potentially, this is allegations.
This is all allegedly. Yeah, you're having fun right now.
Yeah, I'm having fun right now. But allegedly, Michigan then gets in touch with South Carolina. This happens the weeks of Tennessee, and then the next week, Clemson. Yeah. South Carolina the week before puts up 6 points on a 4-loss shitty Florida team. The next week, they hang 60 plus on Tennessee. Then they go and beat Clemson, who they hadn't beaten, I don't know how long.
How long was it?
4 years. Oh, that's it? 4 years. But I think it's like the 10-year. Anyway, they beat Clemson to make sure that they can't get in. And I'm not playing. This isn't. There are pokes of fun that I could have, that I would enjoy having with JP too. But I am just like leaning into all of these theories. Like, that is insane. And just big brain competitive awareness going on at the same time, because you got to respect the lengths that this Connor cat has been willing to go, allegedly, for Michigan. If all of this stuff is true, that is bad news for Michigan. You just saw Michigan pulled their offer to make Harbaugh the highest paid coach in college football. They pulled it. He does not have that on the table right now. They're also saying that the NFL, there's some stuff going on, or conversations going on, saying that the NFL isn't going to be his safe haven for after the season. Like, they might get involved. So just knowing that all these legal aspects are kind of moving right now.
Wait, the NFL might get involved? How would the NFL get involved?
Not get involved, but be like, Jim can't leave. Just leave Michigan and bounce after a scandal goes down like that. Like, cats, because Harbaugh, if you're Harbaugh, in my opinion, just had absolutely zero clue about this whole thing. Harbaugh, in my opinion, this all comes out, right? You're bouncing going to the NFL. You ain't got time to, Michigan could be looking at something as severe as the death penalty.
No.
There's no fucking way.
No way.
Or something similar to Ohio State where they were not allowed to play in the postseason as early as this year. Like that's how much they can fast track this.
That won't happen.
Man, I feel like they got
But
something against Harbaugh.
That's what's up in the air right now. So if you're Harbaugh and those things go down, like you ain't got time for that. You're gonna go to the big league.
Right. And so you're saying that Harbaugh has said they've put something in place where Harbaugh can't bounce. Like, hey, we're gonna
no, they haven't put nothing in place. I'm saying the conversation thing I think is real right now. Like they pulled his contract to make him the highest paid coach in college football. But the things with the NFL, those are just conversations right now. Like the NFL could step in and be like, oh, this isn't going to be Harbaugh's like plan B if all this goes down because if that happens, like that's a very bad look.
Yeah, but the NFL wouldn't do that. Why they would have zero reason to go do that. Pete Carroll essentially did the same exact thing, or they're paying players just like the SEC does every single year for as long as time, but the Pac-12 and the Big Ten starts to do it, and all of a sudden it becomes an issue.
That's fair.
Pete Carroll bounced to Seattle in 2010?
What?
I mean,
you don't think that could be like since Pete Carroll got to do it? You don't think Jim Harbaugh could get to do it?
Man,
he can definitely.
Literally, all the allegations and all this stuff were coming out about Pete Carroll, and Pete Carroll goes, "Okay, I'm going to go to Seattle."
That's true. Yeah, that happened.
But I will say this: I think this is all going to come out as a big witch hunt. Yep. I don't think this is going to be
a big
deal. You can't buy tickets to a game. You can't use the Game Time app and go get tickets for a game. That makes zero sense.
It's not.
If you're gonna scout Tennessee and Clemson, and then you're not going to scout TCU. Literally, an article came out. They scouted Clemson and Tennessee, but they didn't scout TCU. Who was number 2?
Another article came out that TCU knew that they did that, and they had some dummy stuff in there, so that way they could get them off the path.
Like college, you see about 10 dudes throwing up signs.
Like everyone's just working together. Meanwhile, all these out of Big Ten conference guys are like, yeah, we had a thought. We thought CJ Stroud not being a Big Ten guy. He's like, yeah, we thought maybe. CJ Stroud just feels bad. You could hear the saltiness last week on the podcast saying that's one of his biggest regrets is not beating Michigan. Like, of course he's going to say whatever he's going to have to do. But
CBS Sports reportedly had warning.
The SEC, we knew about it. The Big 12, we knew about it. That's a witch hunt, dude.
What do you mean the SEC, the Big 12? These are just certain coaches.
Yeah, they're saying we knew about it. But you look at all the coaches in the Big 10, Matt Rule literally goes, I don't know anything, which you should probably unpack that in a little bit. I don't know anything. That's a good ball club. The Minnesota coach doubled down after we spanked Minnesota and said, that's the best football team top to bottom in the entire country. And because they were playing Michigan State and they go, you got to throw that film out the window because no one's Michigan right now. Nobody's Michigan.
No question.
Yes.
No question.
No one's Michigan. They're the best team in all of college football.
Yeah.
Then in the beginning of the year, my boys in the back, the media, everyone's saying Michigan's got the easiest schedule. They shouldn't be ranked number 2. They shouldn't blah, blah, blah. They're not as good as everyone says they are. Now we're 7-0 and we're covering spreads ever since Jim Harbaugh came back. And now there's a whole bunch of problems. Mm-hmm. Now everybody wants to say there's a thing. Oh, he's been scouting. He's not that good.
Yeah.
No, he did this. He crushed at Stanford. He crushed at the Niners.
At the Niners. He do this.
You played with him.
I know.
So I got a question for you. Does knowing Harbaugh, knowing the guy he is, coming in the locker room, throwing a dip in with the boys, talking to the squad, is he the type of cat that would go and do this?
Nah, I just don't see that happening. I really don't see him doing anything like that. I get it. I love the guy, but be honest with you, he's not that kind of coach. He got the team. If he know he got a good team, he know he can beat you straight out. I feel like he's so paranoid. He the one like doing all the fake dummy calls and doing all of that stuff because he always felt like people was watching us. We used to go outside of the towns to practice before we played the game.
The competitive edge that every coach looks for is alive and well across the board. But like you're going to these lengths, like, yeah, you get caught cheating, right? You just get caught cheating. Like everybody speeds, not everybody goes 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? Like
I understand the reference you're saying.
But I don't get he cheat. I get what that.
Okay, so teams where, because most of this is Big Ten scheduling, right? But Big Ten teams. Yeah. Let's look at how they've played when they face the team, when they get into the playoffs. TCU lost. Georgia lost. They don't beat them. Let's look at the year where they have 0 fans in the stands, COVID. They go 2-4. Like now that they have this cat doing the whole manifesto thing and people are allowed to be in stands, like, yes, their record, like all of this stuff isn't just like throwing darts at the wall and hoping something sticks.
Look up, what's the guy's name? Stalions. I'm pretty sure he's been a part of the University of Michigan since 2018.
Before Jim was there.
No, right when Jim first got there, but all the COVID stuff he's talking about when they weren't playing well, all of a sudden,
right when they weren't
this
playing well
dude just seemed
because
crazy.
But they didn't have the players. Because they didn't. Because
but
they were.
you also don't have
they
the
had-
guys to go
they
buy a
had
ticket
Bra-
to the seats
They
because there's
had
nobody
Brady
around
Hoke's
the
recruits.
stadium.
They had Brady Hoke's recruits. Now he's got guys in. He's got 4 or 5-star guys, and he can develop players. Look at Delaney, core 4 special teams guy.
You're talking about
Everyone
developing
counted him out.
NFL players?
Look at you.
Yeah, this ain't
You
development.
had
This
to
is
develop.
God-given. This is God-given. What you mean?
Exactly why you had to be developed. That shit
Yeah,
was
by Bo
God-given.
Pelini at college.
Dog, you had to be developed. You had to be there were
In the
some cats
NFL?
go in there. Yes. You say you can't develop players in the NFL?
Dog,
No,
look
you
at
can't.
You
look
can't
at
develop
They
guys
taught
in
me
the
how to
NFL.
play
I
tight
became
end.
a better football player the longer I was in the NFL.
Taylor. So
I developed
Yeah.
more.
shout
As long
out
as I
the
learn how to
NFL
play
strength and
tight
conditioning
end.
programs. Then, like that's ultimately that's development. That's the offseason. Everybody leaves in the offseason to go develop
Right.
themselves.
But
They're outside the team.
See, you're
Meaning the
talking about
game,
different coaches. You're talking about a strength and conditioning coach. I'm talking about coaches developing players on the field. When you came from Nebraska, listen, this is not a shot. You were undrafted, and you were able, through the development you had and the work ethic, to get better and stay in the league for, people are saying 8 years, people are saying 11 years. We really don't know, but we know it was longer than the average of 2 years because you had to go through a development stage.
Yeah, I get it.
I came in the league. I was a first-round draft pick. My first year, I was better my second year than I was my first. I was better my third year than I was in my second. So what are we talking about? That's development. That's learning new techniques. That's being coached a certain way. Harbaugh does a phenomenal job of developing these children coming out of high school, going to college. That's why they're winning these games. That's why they're covering all of these games. You want to be upset because we put 45 up on Nebraska. I get it.
I'm not upset.
I get it.
I know
get
you
it.
feel
I
like
knew it was
like
fishy.
this is a
I knew it
personal
was fishy.
attack.
It's not a personal attack. I get it. You're being a bad friend, and we can unpack that every single week because things need to get figured out. But I'm talking about the University of Michigan developing players, and you go to a coaching staff. You're right. The strength staff. Strength staffs in the NFL are not as good as in college.
Nah,
right or
it's
wrong?
different. Yeah,
There's a
'cause
reason
you-
why
yeah.
everybody leaves. And coaches in the NFL, strength coaches, they want to keep their guys healthy, so they put them on basic programs
Yep.
to check boxes.
Yep.
Then you can go in the offseason, you can go to your XSs, you can go to your IMGs, you can go to your strength coach you had at Nebraska. That was a great developer as well.
That'll push you.
And yeah, they'll push you to get the things done you want to get done.
Yep.
But to say we're sitting here and not winning games, Michigan might set a record this year, truly, if all the juniors leave that should, of the most players drafted by a school in NFL history.
Yeah, that probably happened.
18. Look it up. 18. In one draft.
One draft.
In one draft.
Yeah.
18 guys are going to be drafted in the NFL if all of them choose to leave. And you're going to say, oh, the only reason why we're putting points up like that is because we're looking at signs?
People aren't saying that. People aren't saying that Harbaugh isn't a good coach, that he can't develop people. That I when we went and visited and you got to meet the strength staff and see what these kids get, right? Yeah, no one's saying that they can't do those things. You can do those at a high level, still be successful. It's the competitive edge of going these lengths of this cheating scandal that's being looked at. No one's saying like, if that's true, then everything else is false. Like, he is a great coach. He is a great developer. All of those guys at Michigan are like, that's why those kids, they want to go there. You're still getting recruits. You're still getting developed. Like, yes, they are a product that you do not want to face on Saturdays right now. But it's all of these things that are coming out on how far that they've went to ultimately cheat, to do things that are against the rules and the legal aspect of college football. That's what's being looked at. And so that way they can be punished as soon as this year is just, though. That's what the conversation.
Who paying for those tickets though?
What? It sounds like Stallions paid for the tickets.
Well, shit, why are they not worried about this dude? Stallions.
So to answer that question, the Connor Stalions, like, why? So the day it all came out, Connor Stalions deletes all of his social media, forgets to delete one app. What app was it? Venmo. And it shows all the transactions and what he wrote on the item line and stuff like that. All I'm saying is there is a lot of smoke at Michigan, and it just doesn't look pretty. And it sucks. Listen. I enjoy having fun about it. Is Nebraska 4-1 in their last 5, facing only a Michigan team? Yes. But all I'm saying is there's a lot of smoke around Michigan right now.
A lot of smoke.
And it could be
smoke
bad.
and mirrors, actually, is what it is.
They're just trying to distract them. You know, when you put smoke, it's like, let's try to distract them. They don't want them to be the best team in the NFL. I mean, in the college football
Why don't
right
they?
now. Because of Harbaugh. I feel
Talking
like
about
they
one of the
don't
most
like
successful
Harbaugh.
Because the SEC is finally being threatened for the first time in a while. ACC's jumping on it as well. Like there's Putin. Putin hacks me. He hacks me on Twitter the same week all this stuff starts to come out. You think
Russia.
that's it? People are against the University of Michigan because they are America's team right now.
Yeah.
Russia and the NCAA are out to get Michigan right now.
Mm.
What do you guys think about the theory coming out with, South Carolina getting in bed with Michigan a little bit to take down a very good Tennessee Volunteers team last year and also move on to beat Clemson?
Well,
Because they were wearing wristbands for the very first time. They hadn't worn wristbands.
their entire defense.
Their entire defense is wearing wristbands the last 2 games of the season when they beat Florida and Clemson. I'm telling you, this is a fun theory to roll with. It
Go
looks
ahead, Jack.
suspect.
Go
It
ahead.
does not look
It's just a
suspect.
Jack, go
theory.
ahead.
It's
Well,
just a theory.
It's
I
just
mean,
theory. Jack, go ahead. What do you have?
That's the theory. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, there's no room for cheating in football, no matter what level it is, if it's a small sign stealing or if it's whatever. So it's really like an integrity part of the game. You just hate to see people taking advantage of such a pure thing, such as football, especially from what people call the Michigan men. You guys stand on this ivory tower of class, and you just
And the ivory tower.
hate to see it. The Venmos don't lie. Why would he be sending a GA Venmo on December 30th, the day before y'all, or this, where was he at? Yeah, Ohio State, Georgia. Which doesn't make sense. Again, I'm just here as a humble wizard. The
If
orb tells
you're
all.
gonna scout a team that you're gonna play like Georgia, why are you waiting to the second to last game versus a team that is built completely different than you are? Doesn't make a whole lot
What
of
do you mean
sense.
second to last game?
Say the second to last game. This is a payment, allegedly a payment for this game right here, Ohio
Right.
State, Georgia. Which is if Michigan would have beat TCU because we couldn't scout them, we would have played Georgia. Why are you waiting to the last week of the season when you should have been watching them in September and October if this is actually a real
They
thing?
probably were at the very end. Like that's just probably the one game. Like they're
Right.
thinking they're going to
But
beat TCU.
they don't got they got the week before, but they don't got October of the Venmo.
I mean, the
Well,
GA
he might
could
be
be
in
getting
there.
ass. You know what I'm saying?
It might be in there. What?
They could be getting ass. You know what I mean? He was getting some ass. He
Yeah.
paid him.
And I was
know,
back to ass
you know,
Delaney. Get back that ass.
You know what I'm saying? You don't
Yeah,
know
exactly.
you don't know what that
It's
is.
right before New Year's.
Yeah.
They got to go out.
Yeah.
Get some ass.
Get some ass.
Get his ass.
Get some ass.
Get
You
some
gotta
ass.
Get some ass.
To me, this doesn't add up. This is a big witch hunt. There's not enough proof to look over at signs and point in the air at an Ohio State game and say it's a pass. All you have to do is what the same thing the Titans do. You look at tendencies when they're in certain formations with certain motions and look at that, dude. You're probably going to be right 80% of the time.
Hey, here's
look
another
at the other
Venmo, thread. He sure has a lot of people paying him for T-shirt orders.
T-shirt.
So I mean, I'd love to see his business
Merch.
that he's
Talking
running.
about side
They
business.
got a black
He's
hoodie.
got to make it
sell merch
somewhere. Only
every
get
day.
55,000.
We sell merch every day.
So why is he
Green cotton
getting a
T-shirt.
Scarlet T-shirt order? Is a Michigan man selling Scarlet gear? That
Was-
seems pretty
Ooh,
odd.
that's not good.
Mm,
He's
that-
a-
Well, you can't make it. You can't make a certain colored T-shirt. I'm
I mean, your
a
biggest rivalry
Michigan-
ever.
I'm a Michigan man, and what do we sell? Do we sell Ohio State stuff here? Yeah, we have.
I would have it if we had it.
We
We
did.
did.
Yeah,
We did.
we did.
it's not a good look. Hey,
right
Mitch,
around,
don't
right
do that,
around
man.
the college football playoffs. And hey, after Tennessee lost after being the first seed, what do we not sell Bengal stuff? What? Sometimes you just got to do business.
Yeah, in
Sometimes
the
you just got to
stadium.
do business.
It may say fuck
It's a
around and
business
find
move.
out.
It's a business
We
move.
Willie.
It's a business move. Hey, listen, it is what it is, right? But if this man's going to sell a couple Scarlet T-shirts, we're going to hang him at the cross for that. Okay, all right. This guy's a Marine. All right, I didn't
He
believe
should
you.
be smarter
I
than
didn't
that.
believe you,
You
but
said
I-
that,
I-
right?
yeah.
Hey,
I
top
know
of his class, right?
Top of
Marine.
his class. And you think a top of a class Marine, if he was cheating, is not going to delete Venmo?
You feel me?
A 600-page Michigan manifesto of how they're going to dominate the college football landscape over the next.
He's
50 years.
crazy,
you know,
obviously. He's crazy.
That's
And think about this, Delaney. If you're the coach,
Manifesto, manifestation. That's what they're doing.
all it's going to take is
Look at
55
JJ
grand to keep
McCarthy.
you on
JJ
staff
McCarthy
doing what you're going to
meditates.
do.
He speaks things
Come
into
on.
existence. That's the Michigan way, dude.
Yeah, I don't-
you gotta
you know.
see
Where
it
there's
first.
smoke, there's
You gotta be on the field. You gotta see it first before you step on that gridiron.
Big smoke.
Hey, I can't wait till these clips come out and people are just watching y'all argue and Delaney in the mask, Taylor as Ash Ketchum, Will in the football. It's gonna be so
Yeah.
funny.
I'll tell you what,
South
dude.
Carolina didn't cheat.
South Carolina wouldn't cheat.
My favorite thing about that whole thing is they're like, yeah, the defense was wearing wristbands. The defense gave up 38 points.
Right? What are we talking about?
I know.
I mean, that was
What are we talking about?
ball club.
And
Real
Will
tough.
has literally stood on the podium saying that it would help against the offense versus the defense. It would help them defeat the defense the most.
Right. I don't
No, it would.
I'm just saying, brother. A lot of holes. There's a lot of holes in this right now.
There's not a lot. I mean, yeah, it's not a fully painted picture yet,
For
but
us to
the
sit
foundation is painted right now. Like we have the outlines. Now it's coloring between the
here,
lines.
it's a good movie. Right now, we're watching a good movie.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Yeah. We're watching a good movie, and that's all it's gonna be. Because they're not, dude. There's 2 more months left of the season. 2 more months. They're gonna go over. They're gonna make a definite decision on all of this before we win the national championship.
Before y'all even play a ranked opponent, it'll be crazy.
The chances of that are no, because the NCAA takes their sweet ass time on all this stuff. But they're saying it's big enough that the Big Ten Conference, the Big Ten is stepping in to kind of like,
Yeah, the Big Ten
Do
can't
their
do
own-
shit.
why can't they?
They can't do nothing
Why not?
because they can't.
Oh.
Because they can't. We can't do nothing. They can't do nothing. What are you talking about? When we look at
I hope you guys don't, because we want to see you guys in the Big Ten championship.
yeah, I guarantee that's not the case, brother.